And now, Miss Ruzenka Imperialism.
Thank you, thank you. Welcome to the Renaissance Talk Show. Today, we will be interviewing some of the Renaissance most influential people, including Martin Luther, Raphael, Galileo, Shakespeare, Da Vinci, Newton, Columbus, Michelangelo, and John Calvin. Enjoy the show. And now, here is John Calvin.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, we have a few questions for you. Where did you get your education as a young adult, and what subjects did you study?
Well, I studied theology, philosophy, and law at the College de la Marche, College de la Montagne, University of Orleans, University of Bourg.
Wow, that's impressive.
Thank you.
What is your book, The Institutes of the Christian Religion, about?
It is a book that explores God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and the Church. It is written to help people understand salvation and God's knowledge. It's the basis of my new religion, Calvinism.
What does your sect of Christianity believe in?
We believe in predestination. Predestination is God's way of salvation. People are either saints or sinners, and your status as one of these two show if God has chosen you to be saved.
What are some examples of your moral code?
My moral code doesn't allow dancing, gambling, wearing modest clothing, or have too celebratory of feasts. They're all wrong.
Wow, that is very interesting. Thank you for being here today, John Calvin.
Thank you so much for having me. Please welcome our next guest, Mr. Christopher Columbus.
Thank you for having me today.
So, Mr. Columbus, what happened on your journey across the ocean?
Well, as you know, I was an Italian navigator, and I was headed to the East Indies by sailing across the Atlantic Ocean. At the time, I was one of the few people that knew the world was round. The journey I was going to depart on was going to be a bit pricey, so I went to my friends in Portugal to be funded. But they would not help me, so I went to my friends in Spain. They wanted to help me. They had recently kicked all the Jews out of their country to promote Catholicism, and unfortunately, this did not work well for them, and Spain became an unpopular place. So, they wanted to fund my voyage to bring their country wealth and prestige. Now that I was funded, I left on my journey with 3 ships, the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria. It was August 3rd, 1492, when I sailed the ocean blue. My ship sailed for many weeks, but we did not find land. Our provisions became low, and we began to worry. But then, on October 12th, we spotted land. We sailed around the islands, happy to be in the East Indies. When we returned to Spain, we were known as heroes. But after a few more journeys, we discovered that we did not go to the East Indies, but we had actually discovered a new continent. And that is my journey.
Cool. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Mr. Columbus.
You are so welcome. I will come again any day.
Thank you.
Now we will introduce to you a man who is extremely talented. He has studied numerous subjects including botany, anatomy, optics, music, architecture, engineering, and what he is most recognized for, art. Please welcome Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo, we know that you have painted the very famous picture of Mona Lisa. Please explain the story behind this painting.
Well, I began creating the painting in 1513. The painting is the portrait of a woman named Lisa Gherardini. She lives in Florence and is married to a wealthy businessman. In Italian, the word Mona means Madame or My Lady. It is said that Mona Lisa's eyes follow you around and appear to be looking at you wherever you are standing and looking at her. My artwork of Mona Lisa is most famous for her facial expression. In the painting, she is smiling. Many people I have talked to have very different opinions of the meaning of her smile.
How interesting. Now, you have also created the painting called The Last Supper. Tell us your inspiration behind this masterpiece.
Well, I began the painting when my patron, Duke Ludovico, asked me to paint a scene of the Last Supper on the north wall of his family church. I pictured a scene in my mind, and I got to work. I chose to paint the 12 apostles and Jesus gathering around a table and feasting. I grouped the apostles in threes to put Jesus in the center. I used converging lines to draw the viewer's attention to a vanishing point. This is the point above Jesus' head. This gives the painting the illusion of space and depth. At times, I would paint for hours and go for 1 or 2 days without stopping. At other times, I would study the painting for hours and then only add a few strokes. I finished in 1498 when the painting was around 30 by 14 feet.
I understand. We know that you are an expert at other topics as well. What are some of the things that you have studied and incorporated into your art?
Well, I have used what I have studied about botany to help me draw sketches of nature, and I have drawn sketches of flying machines and undersea boats using my knowledge of engineering. In the past, I have examined the human body to learn how bones and muscles work. Knowing about this helped me perfect my drawings and paintings of parts of the body. It also made my paintings grip people with their realism.
Thanks for sharing, Leonardo. It has been so nice having you on our show.